Welcome to Caring for Patients with Down Syndrome, a professional development series for health providers brought to you by the Down Syndrome Association of Greater St. Louis and the Global Down Syndrome Foundation. This lesson, The Links Between Alzheimer's Disease and Down Syndrome, features Dr. Beau Ances.
Hi, I'm Dr. Beau Ances, Professor of Neurology at Washington University in St. Louis, and we're going to be talking about the links between Alzheimer's disease and Down syndrome. What makes so many of our individuals so special who have Down syndrome is that they have 3 copies of chromosome 21. On chromosome 21 are lots of genes that make us up who we are. And those genes make these proteins, which are the building blocks of our body. In particular, a protein called amyloid is being made on chromosome 21. What makes these individuals so special is that they have those 3 copies of this gene that makes so much of this amyloid that can then lead to the hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease. Because amyloid is one of those hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease. What we also know is that as individuals get older who have Down syndrome, their risk of developing Alzheimer's disease greatly increases. And by the age of 40, all individuals with Down syndrome already have the hallmarks of the disease. And by age 50 to 60 years of age, they will have the clinical signs and symptoms that we see with Alzheimer's disease. As you can see, it takes 10 to 15 years between when that pathology deposits in the brain before we see these changes in those signs and symptoms that all of us can see outward in individuals. When we're looking for those signs and symptoms for individuals with Alzheimer's disease, specifically those with Down syndrome, there are a couple signs and things that I'm looking for. One of them is the short-term memory, meaning remembering what you just had, or remembering certain numbers, or remembering certain events that just occurred a couple of minutes ago. You will often see these individuals becoming more and more forgetful. They may repeat, may ask the same questions over and over, may even walk into the room and forget why they've walked into that room. As individuals become more and more impaired due to Alzheimer's disease with Down syndrome, they may have other signs and symptoms. It may now take them longer to do certain activities of daily living. They may forget how to feed, may forget how to bathe, may forget how to go to the bathroom, and may need further and further assistance. As individuals even progress further on in the disease, we may also see some individuals who will develop seizures. So they may either have shaking of their arms and legs, staring off to one side, or actually picking at certain kinds of things. In all of these instances, it is very important that the individual get evaluated. We suggest that individuals by the age of 30 have a clinical evaluation to understand what their baseline is. And then definitely by the ages of 40, and especially in ages of 50, that they're repeatedly evaluated for thinking issues and or seizures or both. Things that we can do for individuals as they start to show these signs and symptoms are the following. 1, get into routines so that individuals know and that they don't have to use that short-term memory. They know it's a procedural memory. Also, work on simple things and try to break down a complicated task into set smaller pieces. Also, have to be willing to accept that some days not everything will be accomplished. We do celebrate those accomplishments and we work the next day. With some families, I actually even encourage them to use whiteboards and have things where they can check off and show those kinds of accomplishments. As for treatments, well, there are now finally becoming clinical trials that individuals with Down syndrome are now eligible for. In the past, all the clinical trials for Alzheimer's disease have actually excluded individuals with Down syndrome. We now have multiple clinical trials with the hope being either that we push off the disease by a number of years and or we hopefully will find a cure.